Welcome back to Cambridge House Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, and today we're being joined by Greg Remsburg, who's a gold miner on the Discovery Channel show Gold Rush. Welcome, Greg. It's great to see you.
Thanks, Vanessa. It's nice to be here.
Now, Greg, what initially attracted you to mining?
Well, gold mining for me started actually out of desperation. The economy in the U.S. had tanked in 07, 08, and in 2009, a few of us got together and decided to head up to Alaska and go mining.
It must have been quite a gamble at the time.
It was. We basically sold everything that wasn't bolted down or in concrete and headed north.
So what made you choose mining of all the kind of options you were looking at the time?
There weren't a lot of other options, to be honest with you, but mining, we were watching the gold prices go up as our economy was going the opposite direction, and we figured, well, between the few of us, we could put something together and make it work, and no better way to earn income than to dig it out of the ground.
Right, so. Actual money.
Yeah.
Millions of North Americans, face economic financial struggles all the time. Is selling your things and moving up to the Yukon is something viable that you would recommend to people, or what is it really like?
I wouldn't recommend that kind of gamble. It's a tough life, but it's a good and rewarding one.
Mm-hmm.
There's when you get out into the vast Yukon, as I've been in for the last 4 years, it's brain rest, actually. I mean, we're out there with no distractions. In society, we're distracted and bombarded by so much.
You're off the grid up there.
Off the grid. We have to rely on our own power sources, own water sources. There's no cell phones ringing, and there's no soccer games to get to, and things like that. Or football games, right?
Yeah. Now, I guess what I would like, maybe some of your fans would like to know is, what goes on off camera when you're not filming?
With the length of days we're working, there's not a lot that happens other than you just have a camp life. It's nothing fancy. At its best, we have an RV, that keeps me warm and dry. But camp food, camp showers. Just got to make sure you have enough potable water to survive.
Do you live there full time, or do you go back to Oregon at any time in the year?
I get to make a couple trips home each season. My family's at home, and it's a long time to be away from them. 6 months so I try to break it up and get home every couple months, or if it works out, get them up there.
And how hard is it for you to be away from your family, kind of isolated up there?
That's the hardest part of mining for me, is to be away from my wife and 3 kids. They've got a life they keep going in the lower 48, and I'm missing out on that. So, I'm torn. I'm torn between generating an income and providing, and being there on a daily basis to be involved.
Now, what have been some of the unexpected things that you've encountered up there? I mean, what has it been like being on a reality show for you?
I'm a carpenter by trade, and to go from being a carpenter, managing construction projects, to being recognized in any airport in the world is a strange, strange feeling. But part of the reason I agreed to do the TV side was that I've lived a life full of ups and downs, and people have encouraged me along the way and shared their experiences, and that's something that I feel like I'm supposed to do with people, and to be able to connect with them through social media and then face to face ultimately is what I like to do. So it's not about being famous to me. It's about, okay, well, there's another opportunity to talk with somebody and maybe to share one of my experiences or listen to theirs.
Now, how does the Yukon compare with Alaska?
They're similar. There's so much untouched country that it's amazing, really. Being from the lower 48 as I am, I live in Oregon, where we have beautiful green, lush forests and mountains and rivers, and I would say Alaska was a little bit more like that to me.
Right.
You get further up north in the Yukon, a little more desolate, slower growth on all the trees and plants and stuff. So it's different. Lots of daylight in the summer.
Right. Do you have any run-ins with any grizzlies?
Less in the Yukon than in Alaska.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say Alaska's. I've heard it can be some deadly encounters there.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who are considering jumping into prospecting or getting into mining?
I would say start out slow, buy a pan, and go pan a creek or two, or maybe find somebody that let you pan on their land and get a feel for it. I mean, go spend a week out in the bush, see if it's really something for you. It's not something I would recommend selling everything and just packing your truck and driving north. But I've seen people do it. Yeah. But those are the people you hear about losing too. So.
Well, what do you think has made you successful?
Planning, and doing our homework, and then executing according to the plan.
Have you been brushing up at all on geology or some of the more technical aspects of mining? And you said you were kind of learning on the job, so.
Yeah, not so much. I'm a sponge when it comes to the experienced miners, though. I want to hear what they're looking for, because we're not doing, other than drilling, graphing or mapping out a claim, we're not doing any other kind of real investigation. So it's more about looking at the lay of the land and then learning what the surrounding land has produced before.
Now, have you ever been approached by bigger mining companies, or would you ever consider joining a big mining company, and how does it compare to working independently?
Working independently is always nice. I mean, I've been self-employed or subcontractor most of my life, and I prefer that. But I'm open to whatever's in store. I didn't plan on sitting here and talking to you 5 years ago,
right.
So I take the opportunities as they come, and I'm anxious and excited about what the future does hold.
Well, what do you have planned in the future in 2015?
Mining back in the Yukon, as far as I know. It's hard to plan that too far out right now, but especially when you get TV involved, they have their own ideas as well. But there's a lot of people on a project like Gold Rush, and a lot of moving parts and pieces.
Well, we'll certainly be watching with interest. Thank you so much for joining us today, Greg.
All right, thank you, Vanessa.